Hi Jim, gonna try to give a short pivot table tutorial here. Hopefully it's helpful. I think as you saw on the other spreadsheet, what I pretty much did was I created this all raw data tab, and really how I did that was I just took each of these 3 tabs of the years and I went ahead and copied I literally just copied each row, pasted it in here, and in just contiguous sections, so that I got all 3 tabs. As you go down the spreadsheet, I got all the data. And then you're going to want to always, with a pivot table, give yourself column header names, because then, as you'll see, that's how you drag those column names kind of where you want them in the pivot table. Another thing that I found is helpful is a lot of times you want to break stuff down by like a time period. So, obviously we had the date for, a memo or a payee. I went ahead and just made this year column next to it. This is kind of contrived, but let's say for some reason I wanted to know like the seasonality of the months or something. So I could go ahead and make a month. Let's see if this works. Okay, so, obviously that month is December. I am going to paste that down. So, any kind of data like that, you can, as long as you have it on every row, you can use it in your pivot table. So now why don't we just go ahead and create the pivot table. I'm going to actually select all the data. I do, I don't know if you're like a shortcut guy, but I do Shift Control End. And then if you hold the Shift key, you can kind of like, with the arrow key, you can kind of control what you're selecting. So I'm going to go ahead and select all the data and then go to Insert, Pivot Table. And you can put it in an existing worksheet. I'm just going to do a new worksheet. It tells you the data you've selected there. I've never used an external data source, but I'm guessing that's any kind of like other Excel spreadsheet, or I bet you choose connection. I could do ODBC. You may even be able to get into a database that way. I'm not sure. But I'm going to use this and say OK. And then in this sheet 1, it's giving me these pivot table fields. So let's say we wanted to know, by month how we're expensing. Again, that's kind of contrived, but so I'm going to take the months. I'm going to click on the month. I didn't want to do that. I just want to drag the month down to the rows. And so that's the months going down in the rows. And then in the column, I'm going to go and grab, let's say, category. And so that's now I have my columns and my rows. And then what data actually do I want in there? Well, I'm going to go grab amount and drag it into values. And this is kind of interesting. I think it might default to the sum of the amounts. But if you go into this value, I clicked on the little arrow here. If you go into this value field settings, you can actually do a bunch of different stuff. I mean, sometimes you'll want a count of things. I've pretty much used sum and count, but I mean average, max, min, standard, dev, all this stuff. But again, I'm just going to keep sum. And I think this question mark was just because I had a question mark in one of the categories. And you can get kind of crazy with this if you want. You can actually, this is going to look, well, why don't I take frequency? And I'm going to, if I take subcategory and put it into columns, see, that blows it out because I got AV equipment here. And then every subcategory I had under AV equipment. Obviously, I just minimized that. But every category I had under AV equipment, now I put it there. And then same with the computer equipment. But like I can, these are kind of dynamic too if you're using them like on the fly. You can sort of collapse these columns and get back to just your category. I'm actually going to get rid of subcategory though. And obviously what I did in the spreadsheet I sent out was instead of month down here, I had year. So my rows were the years. But let's just say for the heck of it, we want to go by month. And so that's month of all years. It's going to aggregate, by month, regardless of the year. Kind of final tip is pivot tables can make your file size for the Excel file pretty big. So what I do a lot of times is I will go ahead and select the oh, that's because I had the subcategory with it. I'll go and select the pivot table. And copy it, and then like make another tab, and then say something like, paste special values. I just pasted the values. So I have the data here. I can't do anything with it because it's just the it's the values without any links or anything. And then go ahead and delete the actual pivot table tab. And so this kind of thing is not much. This doesn't add a lot of size to your file size. And then you can make this prettier. Obviously, don't need the question mark category. Call this month. Make this bold. Maybe bold this. Maybe give all these guys dollar signs. Oops. I just took the decimal off. So that's kind of really, again, a quick tutorial of pivot tables. Setting up the raw data is very important, and kind of how you want to break stuff down. And then a lot of times you'll just be summing amounts or maybe counting things. And then, the pivot table really does all the work for you based on your column headings. Hope this helped for you. I'll maybe save this spreadsheet and send it to you. All right. Talk to you later. And if you have any questions, just please email me. Talk to you later, Jim.